I've had several people request that I do a tutorial on my strumming. They've commented that my strum seems very natural. And to that I want to say that it is. I don't have to necessarily concentrate on my strumming or my strumming patterns very hard. I want to give a little bit of preface to that. First of all, my family, especially on my father's side, seems to have a very good sense of rhythm. Musically, and starting from banging on our knives around the breakfast table. My dad was a good trumpeter, he was a good musician, his mother played piano by ear. Kind of went down the family that direction. Most of us in my family have a very good sense of rhythm. Second part is I took a class on African drumming, which I think was Gold Coast drumming, in which everyone plays a significantly separate rhythmic pattern, and starting at the ending at the same time, and so you have to pay attention to yourself as well as the group, regardless of what's going on you dynamically. The third part is I took a class from James Hill that I also thought was very good class, and maybe clarified some things that I was already doing in my own mind. That being said, this is not a weird tattoo. This is some blue painter's tape that I put on my arm so that you could see what was going on. I played in front of the mirror to kind of put together some of these thoughts about what I do. So now I'm just going to play a little bit and you watch my arm, and then we'll discuss what you see afterwards. Maybe you'll see more than I discuss, and then you can comment on that. So here we go. I'll just play a little bit. Okay, now what I want to point out, maybe you'll want to watch this and maybe I'll want to watch it again too, is that a lot of my strumming that goes on is very tight. It's very tight here, but it's not just wrist. I'm not isolating the wrist and playing here. When you watch my playing, my arm does move about this much. So even when you watch, my bicep is moving because it's working the elbow and the forearm muscles. So when you see this, what's happening is I am getting a swing. Now I am not strumming this way. It takes a lot of energy to do that. I'll try to do the same thing I was doing here earlier. That looks very unnatural. For me it is, especially feeling very weird. But if you put that little bit of a rotation on the wrist, and again, you're not doing this. You're not doing this. That's going to hurt your elbow joint. You're not doing this. That's going to hurt your wrist. You're kind of doing a hybrid action of your wrist and your forearm at the same time. Meanwhile, I could probably do this holding onto my uke. So I'm still putting friction here on my forearm. Matter of fact, you can see a little bit of a mark. It's not a lot of tension. But there you can see how along my wrist and down my forearm, the whole thing kind of moves, as well as down my forearm. So I'm getting a little bit of swing, but I'm definitely not doing this. I'm not doing it up and down. I'm doing kind of a roll. Now when you're working on your triplets, I'll just do a muted triplet here, and you'll be able to see where this is, well, I'll play what I was playing before. Your wrist is already going, see? So your thumb is a natural follow through here for this triplet. Of course, the muting that I'm doing is all coming up from the strings. I'm not chunking it with the palm of my hand. I'm muting the 4 strings with my chording hand. But I don't know if that helps you at all. I'm not doing an up and down like this. I'm not doing this. I'm doing this. So you can kind of see a rotation that goes on here. And it's very tight in close to the uke. So you can kind of see I am moving my arm, but not much up and down, and it's kind of a hybrid of elbow movement and wrist turn. So I'm kind of, there's my triple. You can see how tight that is. And if you're doing your fan, your hand is right there. You're not moving it very far. I hope that helps a little bit. If you have any comments or things you'd like to send me about what I'm doing, or try to explain what I'm doing any better, that'd be helpful. The main thing is don't try to make your wrist do too much here, or your elbow, you know, doing too much there. You're going to hurt yourself. You get tennis elbow doing repetitive. I've never had a sore arm from strumming. I've had sore fingertip when I was first doing it because you're building up a callus, that type of thing. But that's, now my tape's coming off. That's just a brief discussion of my strum. I hope that helps. Look for help outside of your group. Like I said, with the drumming class is very helpful because you get an independent hand work there. And just think about strumming the uke different, especially if you're a guitar player. You're not holding a pick. This is not what I do. I don't do this. See how my elbow now, my whole arm is up and down. I don't need that much strength to do that. And there you could see my wrist being that flexor in there. Hope this is helpful.